What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about several different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about Scream 7, Final Destination 7, Ready or Not 2, and Chucky, or the Child's Play franchise. Now, starting off here with Scream 7. Scream 7's plot reportedly keeps leaking. It's leaked some more, it seems. And for those aware of the source of this recent leak, you might have noticed a lot of it lines up with some of my own reporting about Gale and a certain nutcase in the film. I won't dive too deep into what else it claimed, but sleuthers might want to check it out if you're desperate for an update on how Matthew Lillard is going to be used in the upcoming film. Now, this report also went over Sam and Tara's whereabouts during Scream 7. I'm not going to say that the report is inaccurate, but take from that what you will. Next Friday is Neve Campbell's birthday, so maybe we'll get something related to Scream 7. What everyone seems to be wanting is a teaser trailer, but fingers crossed that it ends up being anything, because her birthday seems like a good day to release something. Not that they're going to do that. Neve Campbell isn't going to make a big deal about her birthday anyway. Neve Campbell seems like she doesn't even live on social media the way a lot of people do. But fingers crossed. What do you guys think about the leaked information that came out about Scream 7? What do you think about how Matthew Lillard apparently is used in the film? Does that make you more excited? Does it not make you more excited? Let me know all that down below. Now, let's talk about Final Destination 7. I will say, this next half are alleged leaks, just like with Scream 7, and I have no way of knowing that these are 100% legitimate. But if you're not interested in any potential details about Final Destination 7, then don't listen to this section of the video. You can come back in about a minute or two, I don't know. But these come from 4chan, and shout out to UK for sending these my way. But it says the main protagonist is a phlebotomist, their sibling is chasing acting work, the main disaster is at a resort water park where a movie is being filmed, and the timeline is sitting around the Final Destination 3 time skip. The subway car is a central plot point. Kimberly from Final Destination 2 is back. She's now a paramedic and shows up with Thomas right after the subway sequence. The new lore is that victims' own thoughts, obsessions manifest their deaths. The signs the protagonists see aren't from death itself, but from the victims' minds leaking out. This is meant to explain why some characters survive longer than expected. Now, my thing is this. One reason I don't think this is true is because it says she shows up with Thomas right after the subway sequence. But I don't understand why Thomas would show up if Bloodlines established that Kimberly is the only one that's supposed to be alive. And then another aspect of this mentions that Kimberly is now a paramedic. I feel like this person might have read the first responder script, or they are aware of the first responder script and they just put together their best piece of fan fiction and distributed it to us online via 4chan. 4chan has a lot of credible things on it sometimes, and a lot of times it does not. I don't think this is completely legitimate. I do think there's a chance that the water park disaster could be legitimate. I don't think they've actually written anything for Final Destination 7, but who am I? I don't know how far they are into the process of that. They could have written a screenplay by now, but I think at this point, what we might have is a general idea of what they want to do, and maybe this person was present for the conversation and they decided to share it with us on 4chan. But the immediate thing that makes this hard to believe is Thomas being involved, when Bloodlines just established that Kimberly is supposed to be the sole survivor. That would be an inaccurate statement, a bit of a plot hole too, if Thomas is going to show up with her. Now, let's talk about Ready or Not. I wanted to address something about Ready or Not Here I Come, because I did a video about it yesterday, as you all know who watched. And I know I've shared that Catherine Newton is supposed to be playing Faith, who is Grace's sister. This seems to have sparked concerns about how that's possible for Grace to have any sort of family when Grace said she had no family in the last movie. Now, I do remember that she said that, but I want to remind everyone that family isn't as clean cut for some as it is for others. While Grace did tell us she grew up in the foster care system, she didn't acknowledge Faith's existence due to the current standing she has with her sister. That's part of the narrative in this film. That, and of course, I'm sure the writers didn't have a sister in mind while writing that original, but yeah, Grace's foster care history is not going to be ignored in this film. Faith is someone who was very much so a part of that with her. She just had a rocky relationship with her sister, and that sparked the remarks she made to her fiance in the first movie. This is also why I said thanks Sam and Tara from Scream 5 and 6, because you know how that relationship was when we first met them in Scream 5, and how we watched that relationship get repaired over time from that movie and during Scream 6. I will say there's also a surprise cast member from Gen V featured in this film. For anyone who follows me on Twitter, you probably already saw my tweet, but here's another layer to that tweet. This is a supporting player, not one of our mains. So look into the supporting characters, not the mains. But I'm not going to get into who it is. Those of you who know, thank you for protecting it. But yeah, I saw that they didn't announce this person, so I didn't want to be the one to announce it because it seems like it's supposed to be some grand surprise. Now, let's round this video out by talking about Child's Play. Olivia Allen Lynn chatted with Bleeding Cool about Lexi recently and the future of Child's Play. She said, yeah, oh my God, I miss Lexi every single day. I find myself bringing Lexi a little bit into every character I play at this point because I love her so much. It was so great to be able to play her for so many seasons because it felt like I got to flesh out that character. I've been so lucky to work on so many projects with such amazing writing. And again, I miss her every day. I miss the cast, and I miss filming with that little red-headed freak. I miss it all. If there is anything to do with the movie, extra season, limited series, anything in the future, sign me up. I love that show so much and the people involved so much. I have not heard anything at this point, sadly, but if there is, I am so there and I am so down. I want to give the Terror Trio an end, and it doesn't sit right with me that their souls are stuck in dolls forever. That cannot be their end. Well, here's the thing. She's very much so right in that last statement. That should not have been their end. But you know why it was? Because of the thing that led to so many people who were watching it. Not that there were a grand amount of people, which is why it ended up getting canceled. There weren't enough people. But the little people who were, they were turned off by all the wild writing choices that Don was doing, or that his writing team and him were approving of. And then it got to a point where people just checked out. Now you go completely off the rails. You do something like this in your finale with no future plans in sight. Yes, we've heard him talk about a movie, but season 4 is not happening, and leaving the trio in that predicament, I think, was a very wild choice to make. I don't think you should have ended your season like that, and that's why I think many of us are not interested in seeing Don Mancini as the sole person involved creatively with Chucky right now. I will always have respect for him, but there comes a point where we have to acknowledge sometimes the writing is a bit too off the rails. It's too bonkers. And to constantly take issue with those of us who are tired of some of the writing choices, you're not doing anything but putting Chucky deeper into the grave. The IP is going to cease to exist at some point. Once it starts losing money, once it starts not making Universal any money, we're going to be able to point the finger at everyone who kept saying, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Well, that's why it's canceled. That's precisely why it's canceled. That's why Universal isn't doing anything with the IP right now. As far as we know, they seem like they're not in any rush to produce any Chucky content. I feel like when we get Chucky again, it's going to be a complete reboot. Don, of course, will be involved because he has a right of first refusal, I believe. But hopefully they hire some creatives who can balance out the wackiness that Don seems hell-bent on doing. Despite many people being vocal, they want to see scary Chucky again. And those people are not wrong to have those sentiments. Constantly telling them that they are wrong is why you're in the position you're in right now. They're just checked out of Chucky. Chucky can still be an iconic killer, and he always will be an iconic killer. But blowing up the North Pole, getting your nuts checked at the doctor, seeing all this wacky stuff, it's not necessary. It just takes people out of the experience, and they're telling you they're tired of it. And if you don't want to listen, you're going to end up in a lose-lose scenario. But let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. In the description, I have links to all of my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there's any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.